Back on Inside Tennessee, we're going to do a lightning round with Congressman Burchett. This is his quick first impression with some names or issues that John and I throw at him. Let's start with Speaker McCarthy.
Friend, never lies to me.
Representative Santos.
He's my neighbor. I pray for him. He sits with me on Center's Road sometimes.
Representative Rogers.
He's my friend.
Representative Boebert.
She's my friend. Texted my wife that night and thanked her for me.
Representative Gates.
He's my friend as well.
Nancy Pelosi.
She's actually my friend. She came over and sat with me the other day and asked me about Isabel.
Speaking of friends, Ocasio-Cortez.
She's a friend.
Now, you one time said you were going to bring her here to Knoxville.
Yeah,
you all should still do that.
We're working on a piece of legislation, actually, that we're going. I think I'm going up to New York City for the first time ever, and she's going to take me around. So I'm looking forward to that.
Here's another name: Donald Trump.
Friend. I don't know what he's going to do.
How about President Biden?
Not a friend. I know him. He doesn't know me, but I think he's. Honestly, I think he has some real problems.
President Putin.
Thug.
And Zelensky?
Probably one of the more misunderstood people, I think. Former comedian, interesting guy.
You trust him?
No.
Why?
I don't trust too many people in government.
Bill Lee.
Very honorable man. Good friend.
Cameron Sexton.
Another good friend. He worked in one of my Senate campaigns.
Future governor, maybe?
Possibly. There's a bunch of them that could be future governors.
Here's a blast from the past. Randy McNally.
He came when my daddy died. He came to the bedside with me and Mama. So he's at the top of my list.
And then you've talked about, we know you were former Knox County mayor. What do you think about Glenn Jacobs and his future?
I think he's very bright. I think he commands attention, and he follows through.
And we have a city race coming up again this year. I don't know if you've been paying much attention to it. You've got own stuff to worry about. India Kincannon, mayor of Knoxville.
She's a very good friend of mine, actually.
Really?
We don't probably agree on anything, but she's always been a good friend.
How about UT President Randy Boyd?
Randy's been a dear friend for years. His father-in-law was one of my teachers at Bearden High School.
You have been a critic of some of the things that have gone on at UT. Do you think he's done a good job steering the system?
I do. It's probably the best job in the state and the toughest job in the state. And he does it for free.
He does it for free. How about Chancellor Plowman?
She's a friend. I don't think our politics align, but that's fine. She's always kind to my girls.
Let's move to some issues.
So, yeah, this is an issue that I know we wanted to get to with you, Tim, and that is the whole issue of, yes, the Republicans are back in power, but what about the word gridlock? We seem like we're going to maybe hear a lot of that.
Yeah. I had an old lobbyist in Nashville tell me one time that the best thing he had to report to his people was he had nothing to report. So, the American public always figures out a way to handle what's going on eventually. And if we could just stop all the nonsense, all the woke policies, all the out of control spending, I think we could. I think the American public could figure it out.
How about term limits? You brought a bill.
Yeah. I support it. Ted Cruz has one of the House sponsors of his bill in the Senate. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. We're going to pass it probably in the House this year or come close to it, and it will die a unseemly death in the Senate. The only way we're ever going to pass term limits is if we grandfather people in. If we'd have done that 30 years ago, we'd have term limits now. And I'll tell you this: these term limits groups, I've never met them. And they're selling people memberships, and people send us $50. We're taking it to the hill, this bill, and they don't ever do anything. They pay their executive people. They drive around and probably have nice dinners with some Congress people, but they don't do jack. I wouldn't. I just don't take that group serious.
Would you self-term limit to set the example, or will you let the people decide?
I'd let the people decide.
Classified documents. We
need a new way of handling that. I've talked about that. It's an interesting subject because being on the Foreign Affairs Committee, I'm privileged to go to meetings that are classified in the SCIF, and it's James Bond kind of stuff. You can't take your phone in, you can't take your Apple Watch and all that. I've been in there when they said, hey, we're picking up a signal, somebody's still got it, and somebody, oh yeah, I'm sorry. And then they'll go out. Lead line doors, the whole deal down in the basement. I think there's levels of classified documents, and I think some of the top levels of classified documents should have a handler, and they should never leave that person. Whereas if they want to see it, bring it over, and they stay there, and then they take it back with them to the vault or whatever. I think we're going to have to get to that point, because this deal, and also, honestly, I think President Biden's being set up. I think the Democrats accomplished a couple of things. It was released, the Justice Department, which I don't trust, had the information prior to the election, and then they waited 40 days afterwards, but then now it's just coming out of every which way. So they've accomplished two things. It didn't affect them in the elections, and it's going to take Joe Biden out, or it will help take him out, because he looks, every time they ask him a question, it's just a blank stare, and that's embarrassing, and they know it. They know they have a problem. I'm in the gym with all those guys, and we talk, and they know they have a problem.
Congressman Burchett, we appreciate the conversation as always, and we'll be checking in as you move forward in 2023.
Look forward to it. Thank you, fellas.
We're back with our talk around. John North right after this.